take care of crimes and ways, in essence, to avoid taking more time in the trial. Try and keep things shortened up as much as possible. So that's why we're getting started about a half hour or so late. Okay. Still under oath. Got it.
Morning, everyone. Morning, Jennifer.
Morning, Counselor.
All right, we were talking yesterday about a leadership meeting on June 3rd. Do you remember my questions about that?
I do.
Okay, and that is on the significant events timeline. That would be number 9, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We were playing a few clips. We didn't get through all of them, so I'd like to play number 91 and then ask you a couple questions about them. I think that was the last one we played, okay?
Sounds good.
Okay.
This is my main concern. I always feel downside that is, this fence our entire league.
Our entire leadership is gone. Is that what we heard?
Yes.
Okay, and Daniel Harris, that person that's speaking, he is in leadership, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, you can play number 90, or tell us about 92 and then we'll play it.
Sure. So 92 is a transcript made by Dan from the same meeting. It's further on, and it's when they're deciding whether or not to go to the Dublin meeting.
Okay, thank you.
So, you know, this one, you know, to see if it really was a game. Right. And then the second one.
So at this point, Mr. Harris here is talking about a second meeting, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so it's fair to say there's at least knowledge that there will be another meeting after this Dublin, Ohio meeting, is that right?
That's correct.
Thank you. And we heard clips yesterday, if you recall, about ranking structure and things like that.
Yes.
Okay, so can you tell me, based on listening to the recordings of the meeting, kind of how they picked leaders and assigned ranks?
Sure. It was a open discussion during the meeting. They talked about whose roles, what roles needed to be filled, and then who could fill them. And then it was decided that Joe Morrison had started the group. He would be the commanding officer.
Okay, was Dan, your source, assigned a role or a rank?
Yes.
And what was that?
So he was the XO or executive officer. That's the number 2 in the group.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Bellar get a rank.
Yes, he was assigned the rank of sergeant.
And was this reduced to writing by Mr. Bellar?
Yes.
And was it distributed?
Yes.
And did Mr. Morrison write these things down?
Mr. Bellar wrote them down.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you to take a look at exhibit 107 and 108. Tell me what those are.
One 107 is a photograph of Peter screen with a Microsoft Word document up with the rank structure written on the Word document.
Was that the ranks that were agreed upon at the meeting?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. What about 108?
108 is a training itinerary. It's a photograph of a Word document that was typed out and sent out on the Wirechat.
Okay, so this is part of the wire chat, is that right?
That's correct.
Is it fair and accurate as to that date?
Yes,
And the date on that agent is,
June 9th, 2020.
thank you. So shortly after this meeting, it was disseminated, sent out, right?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna move for its admission, Judge.
No objection. No objection.
Standing objection.
108 or 107, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
And
And 108 as
What
well,
about
Judge?
108?
Yeah.
You moving for both of them?
I am.
Both of them are admitted.
Sure, 107. Okay, tell us what we're looking at.
So this is from June 9th, 2020. This is posted to the Wolverine Watchman Leadership Chat by Paul Bellar. And this is the typed out rank structure of the organization.
What does CO stand for?
Commanding officer,
And who is Boog Daddy Bunyan?
Joe Morrison.
Okay, what does XO stand for?
Executive officer,
LT,
lieutenant,
that's Dan, right?
that's correct.
Okay, SGT,
That's sergeant,
okay, and who is Gunny?
that's Ty Carbon, that's his handle in the group.
Okay, and Beaker
That's Dan Harris, that's his handle.
and Doc.
That's Paul Bellar.
Okay, thank you. And can you put up 108, please? What is this?
The training schedule from June 9th, 2020 that Paul Bellar posted.
And this is for June 14th is the date up there, correct?
Yes, it's for the upcoming training.
Okay, and so Mr. Bellar disseminated this, you said on wire?
Yes,
Okay, I want to go through this exhibit a little bit later. I'll take it down for now. I'm going to keep moving on this topic. Can you take a look at exhibit 212?
I have it here.
And what is it?
This is a notebook found in Dunn Road with handwritten notes about the rank structure.
Morrison's house?
Yes,
And do you know where it came from?
yes, it came from a Joe Morrison Federal.
Okay, thank you. And was this, when was this taken?
Taken during the arrest and search warrant, which is October 7th, 2020. It's the final event on this event's timeline.
Is that a fair and accurate of what was seized at the house?
Yes,
Thank you. I'm gonna move for submission, Judge.
Doesn't pertain to my client, no objection.
Standing objection. No objection.
12 is admitted.
12, Judge?
Wolverine Watchman list handwritten 212.
Yes, Judge, 212. Thank you. You look good. Thank you. Okay, and what are we looking at here?
it's a photograph of a notebook found in Joe Morrison's room.
Okay, and same structure as we just saw in the typed out version for Mr. Bellar?
Yes, there's 2 additional sergeants that are added.
Okay, and who are they?
Franks, that's Caleb Franks, and B Puff, that's Brian Puffenberg.
Okay, and the executive officer is listed not as Dan, but what is that?
Eat a dick.
And what is that?
That's the handle Dan used on wire.
Okay, thank you. And there's a mission statement there.
Yes,
Can you tell us about that?
yes, the mission statement is to protect and secure liberty for all Michiganders, to restore the constitutional republic.
Under that, what's that?
Mors semper tyrannis,
What does that mean?
death to tyrants.
You can take that down, thank you. Were handwritten notes ever seized from Mr. Bellar's apartment in Milford, Michigan?
Yes,
Can you tell me about, or actually, can you look at exhibit 180?
yes, I have it here.
What is it?
This is a photograph I took of Mr. Bellar's apartment in August after he had left.
Okay, thank you. And is it fair and accurate?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Move for its admission, Judge.
Any objection?
Objection.
No objection, Your Honor. Standing objection.
180 is admitted.
Thank you. Put it up, please. I'm sorry, I think this is,
Zero.
sorry,
180.
180, that's what I can circle back.
You're looking for 182.
182, okay. And so you're looking at 182, what is that?
182 is handwritten notes from Paul Bellar's apartment from at the beginning of August.
Thank
It's
you.
a picture of a notebook.
Thanks, Agent Ufla. Okay, I'm gonna move for the admission of that, Judge.
No objection.
No objection, Your Honor.
Standing objection. 182 is admitted.
Thank you. Go ahead and take that. Okay, what are we seeing here?
This is notes involving the rank structure and training itinerary from Paul Bellar's department.
Okay. And down on the training itinerary part, it says full march, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, vehicle maneuver, is that right?
Yes.
AV pillars, what are AV pillars?
Those are the first and second pillars on a vehicle.
Okay. The doors, is that right, by the doors?
Yeah, so the pillars go up from the door.
What is that, driver down?
That's a scenario, training scenario.
Ambushes,
Yes,
planned and opportunity ones, correct?
correct.
Thank you. Vehicle, I'm sorry, dismount, storage, vehicle down convoys, is that right?
Correct.
What are those?
A dismount is exiting a vehicle with your firearm. Storage is storing the vehicle in your firearm. Yeah, even storing the firearm in your vehicle. And then a vehicle convoy is what law enforcement uses to protect dignitaries or heads of state.
Thank you very much. Okay, so you could take that down. All right, so now there's ranks in this group, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, and you know, Dan, as you testified before, you asked him, when you first signed him up to be a CHS, to be a listening, voice, right?
That's correct.
Observe and report, correct?
Correct.
Has his role now changed?
Yes, absolutely.
You discussed that with him.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
We brought him into the office and we told him that in his role in the group, he had some responsibilities and he was a contributing member in the group. We told him that he'd be discussing illegal activity and that if something was brought up by the group, he was allowed to discuss it. So for instance, explosives were brought up to the group, he was allowed to talk about explosives and participate in the discussion about acquiring them or whatever that activity was. If they were talking about meeting with Adam Fox, for instance, once Adam Fox was brought up and on the table, he could talk about it, participate in the group, whatever he felt was necessary. Same with Barry Croft, the same with anybody else. We told him his job at this period in time was now to chase the violence. Wherever the violence was going, he wanted to be part of that discussion once it had been brought up.
Okay. And then report it back to you, is that correct?
That's correct.
Thank you. And he was still wearing recording devices, correct?
Yes,
Okay. I'd like to go back to something we talked about yesterday, where we talked about Mr. Morrison discussing his national contacts. Do you remember that?
I do.
Okay. Do you remember questions about, he was discussing his national contacts starting from April, correct?
Yes,
He discussed his national contacts in May, correct?
yes,
Okay. And now they've we've just listened to a bunch of clips where they're discussing a meeting in Columbus, correct?
correct.
The meeting actually is that really in Columbus or is it outside of Columbus?
It's in Dublin, so it's within an hour of Columbus.
Okay, so a suburb of Columbus, is that fair to say?
Yes,
Okay, and you had testified yesterday, at this point in the investigation, you didn't really know much about this meeting, is that right?
that's correct.
But did you learn about it afterwards?
Yes.
Okay, and how did you learn about it afterwards?
After Adam Fox trained with the Wolverine Watchman, there was discussion about Barry Croft, and they were invited to another meeting where Barry Croft would be attending in Wisconsin. So at that period of time, I reached out to agents in Baltimore and started learning who Barry Croft was and what his plans were.
Did you learn that that was a separate investigation in the FBI that you were not involved
That's correct.
in? Okay. So let's talk about this meeting that the Wolverine Watchmen have been invited to. And then Mr. Morrison is kind of putting out to the group about, should we go, right?
Okay.
Okay. They don't actually attend that meeting. Is that right?
Your Honor, I'm objecting to leading. I mean, I'm gonna let it go for a while, but it sounds like I'm doing the questions now.
Okay. Thank you. We heard a bunch of clips where they're discussing the meeting, right?
That's correct.
Is that the meeting you're talking about?
Yes, the Dublin, Ohio meeting.
Okay. And what's that? Oh, I'm sorry. And you came to learn, you said, what that meeting was about just now in your testimony?
Yes, I did.
And what was that meeting about?
About political violence. It was about coordinating attacks amongst states in the United States so they would occur at the same time so we could kick off the Boogaloo.
Did you review a recording of that meeting?
I did.
And how did you have a recording of that meeting?
The FBI agents in Baltimore had tasked the source to attend the meeting. They'd given the source a recording device, and the source had made a recording of the meeting and provided it to the Baltimore agents. They put the recording in evidence, and then later, when I learned that the two threat streams were merging, I asked for a copy of the recording, and I listened to it myself.
And so you're familiar with what was discussed at the meeting, is that correct?
I am.
And you talked about generally what was discussed in the meeting. What was your understanding of who planned that meeting?
Barry Croft planned the meeting.
And did you review information like, Facebook records, wire chats, phone records, things like that, to determine who exactly had invited Mr. Morrison?
That's correct.
Okay, and who did you find did that?
That was Barry Croft.
When does the meeting take place?
It was June 6th, 2020.
Okay, and is that on our significant events timeline?
Yes, it is.
Is that number 10?
Yes, it is. Would that be all right if I put it up on the board?
Yes,
for
go
reference?
ahead. Yep. Thank you. Okay, so meeting occurs in Dublin, Ohio on June 6th, 2020, right?
Yes,
Okay. After the meeting, does Mr. Morrison reach out to Barry Croft to ask him something about the meeting?
yes, he does.
Does Mr. Morrison then talk to his group about Barry Croft and the people that attended the meeting?
Yes, he does.
Does he give a report back to his group about the meeting?
Yes, he does.
I want you to take a look at exhibit number 109.
I have it here.
What is it?
This is a screen capture of the Wolverine Watchman main chat from June 9th, 2020.
June 9th, 2020, so that's 3 days after the meeting in Dublin, Ohio, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and is it fair and accurate?
It is.
Thank you. I'm gonna move for its submission.
Any objection?
It doesn't apply to my client. I would object, but it doesn't apply to my client.
No objection. No objection to this.
109 is admitted.
Thank you. Can you put it on the screen? Can you zoom in? Can you tell us what we're seeing?
Morrison stated, oh, BTW. By the way, the meeting in Columbus went well, and I have a contact here we need to do a meeting with. This is some real shit, guys. Dan Harris stated, oh, good. Joe Morrison stated, like, real deal, get shit done, MFers.
And that's June 9th. I want you to take a look at exhibit number 112.
I have it here.
Okay, what is that?
This is an excerpt from the Wolverine Watchman. I believe this is a leadership chat.
And what's the date on this?
I index here with the date. This is from June 12th, 2020.
Thank you. Okay, is it fair and accurate?
It is.
What's it a conversation between? Who is it a conversation between?
This is between CHS Dan and Joe Morrison. And I'm sorry, I said this was in the leadership chat. This is a direct communication between CHS Dan and Joe Morrison.
Okay, thank you. Remove for submission, Judge.
Doesn't pertain to my client, no objection.
No objection. Back to the standard objection, yeah.
112 submitted.
Put 112 up. You can zoom. Okay, tell us what we're seeing.
Joe Morrison stated, this is that real shit I was talking about. Dan stated, fucking gold, man. What you think may be. can we bring anything to the table? It's for sure Saturday. I'm going to get afternoon off as long as we got to for sure date. I'm on the schedule already. Joe Morrison stated, I believe it's a plan to get the state groups on one solid plan. Dan stated, do something like what's happening in Seattle, takeover, or just overall? How many no shit groups are there in Michigan? Ones you think like us? Joe Morrison stated, that's what we are gonna find out soon and bigger than Seattle. Dan asked, want to go over it Sunday? Joe Morrison stated, sounds good.
Okay, you can keep that up there. What's happening? Are you aware of what's happening in Seattle around this time?
I am.
What is that?
That's the Chaz event where blocks in Seattle were taken over by anti-government people.
Okay, was there any violence?
Objection, speculation, he wasn't there.
He's aware of events happening in Seattle.
I think we're all aware of it.
It's one thing to be aware, but testify specifically a court of law. It's a different standard between watching the news and then being able to come in a court of law and say, this happened, that happened.
You lay any more foundation?
Sure. You work domestic terrorism for the FBI, is that correct?
That's correct.
Thank you. Is it part of the FBI's job to know what's happening around the country related to domestic terrorism,
Yes, it is.
political violence?
Yes.
Okay. Were you aware of anything that was happening in Seattle that could be classified as political violence?
Yes. So I received reports from the FBI, intel reports as to political violence that was happening on the street in Seattle, as well as reports of outside agitators who were traveling to Seattle to help confront police or contribute to that violence.
Well,
Okay. So what's going on in Seattle at this time related to political violence?
So there's firebombing of courthouses. There's riots, and then there's the takeover of city blocks in which government officials were not allowed to enter.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so let's talk, you can take that down, thank you. You've told us about this meeting in event number 10. Let me ask you about who Barry Croft is in relation to this investigation.
Sure. So Barry Croft is a subject from the FBI Baltimore office, which covers Delaware. He's from Delaware, and he is a national representative for the Boogaloo movement. So he's as I came to learn, a figurehead in the Boogaloo movement.
Do Croft, you've already testified with this, does Croft and Morrison get in contact?
They do.
Okay, and can you take a look at exhibit number 10?
I have it here.
Okay, and what is that?
So exhibit number 10 is 4 different PowerPoint slides showing the relationship between Pete Musico and Adam Fox, Joe Morrison and Barry Croft, Pete Musico and Barry Croft, and Adam Fox and Joe Morrison.
Okay, and how do you have this? How'd you make it?
So I made this using PowerPoint.
And how did you source the information in the doc?
I reviewed the phone records and the Facebook records obtained via search warrant, and I searched for contacts between Pete Musico and Joe Morrison and Barry Croft and Adam Fox, and then I put them on the timeline.
Thank you. I'm gonna move for,
Doesn't affect my client, no objection.
No objection.
that was number 10, correct?
Yes,
And those admitted.
thank you. Okay, so if you should put up the exhibit, page 3. Page 3 of that exhibit. We were just talking about the contacts between Joe Morrison and Barry Croft. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, so I want to stay in that, on this particular page, okay? So tell us what we're looking at generally here.
Sure. So Joe Morrison is in the top left. Barry Croft is in the bottom left. Those are their photographs. And then along this timeline, it's going left to right sequentially. And I just put the significant contacts or the things that I thought were pertinent from Facebook and phone calls and in-person meetings.
Okay, and when does this contact start?
On May 10th, there's a Facebook friend request between Gordon Croft and George Bunyan. And those are the accounts used by Joe Morrison and Barry Croft.
Okay, and then when does it end on this timeline?
I'm looking at the far right on September 27th, 2020. There's a friend request from Joe Morrison's George Bunyan II Facebook account with BG Croft Jr.
And when, now, this isn't just one account that Joe Morrison is friending to get to Barry Croft, is that right?
That's correct. There's multiple Facebook accounts for both Joe Morrison and Barry Croft.
Okay, so you've got like multiple records and you're kind of compiling this document, is that fair to say?
Yes,
Okay, and so we're talking about contact between Joe Morrison and Barry Croft in May, correct?
yes,
In June, correct?
yes,
In July, correct?
yes,
In August, correct?
yes,
In September, correct?
yes,
All the way through to the end of September, right?
that's correct.
Okay, and when is the arrests that occur in this case?
October 7th, 2020.
Thank you. All right. So the first time, according to this timeline here, is that they are in contact is May 10th, 2020. Is that right?
That's when they became friends on Facebook.
For the first time.
Correct.
Okay. Is there another time that they become friends on Facebook?
Yes, then on May 15th, with different accounts, they become friends.
Okay. And does I want you to take a look at exhibit number 5, please. You can take that down.
I have it here.
Okay, so we're still, we're talking about Morrison and Mr. Croft. Is there, what is that document, exhibit number 5?
So exhibit 5 is communications. These are the Facebook business records that I received as a result of search warrants, and their communications between Joe Morrison and Barry Croft.
And they go over a course of time, is that right?
That's correct.
And these are just selected, are these just selected, or is this every page?
It's not every page. These are just the pertinent portions I selected.
Okay, I'm gonna move for its admission, Judge.
Doesn't affect my client, no objection.
No objection, Your Honor.
Standing objection.
Number 5 is admitted.
Thank you. If you could pull that one up and go to page 3, please. Or I'm sorry, page 1. Can you zoom into the top box? Tell us what we're seeing here.
Sure. This is a post by Barry Croft, he uses Facebook Last Croft, and he's tagging George Bunyan, which is Joe Morrison. He's saying at George Bunyan, that's right, deep throat, fuck 'em, redcoats equal all unconstitutional standing armies.
Can you zoom into the bottom right corner?
George Bunyan, which is Joe Morrison, tagged another user, Kevin Edwards, and stated, oh, definitely. They've been tracking and monitoring us hard AF
Stands for.
as fuck. So to the FBI and MSP, get fucked redcoats.
Can you tell me? Did you go to page 2? Left box. What are we looking at here?
This is direct messages or DMs between Joe Morrison and Barry Croft.
What is Joe Moore, and we're looking at a date here of May 31st, 2020. Remind us what's happening on that date.
This is the QRF response to Detroit.
One of the times that Joe Morrison brought up, he had national contacts, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and what happens here?
Joe Morrison stated, one of mine got arrested. And Barry Croft provided his phone number and said, call me.
Okay, and
And
Sorry.
Just to point out, for the purpose of the timeline, these dates here are UTC,
Okay,
which is 4 hours ahead. So when you translate that to Michigan time, it's actually, in this case, 5:30. So it says 5:31, it's in UTC,
and what's UTC?
Universal Time Code.
Okay, and is that Greenwich Mean Time where England is?
Yes,
Okay, and is that like a universe, what is that? Let me ask you.
that's basically a reference point for Facebook that they use in all their records.
Okay, and so every record we'll see will have a universal time code as opposed to Eastern Standard Time Zone where Michigan is.
That's correct. So then you have to translate it to where we're at for the timeline.
Got it, thank you. Okay, so there's a phone number provided.
Can I ask just a question, just for clarification on this, if I may? So, and maybe I misheard you, right? The time on here, you said was 3:30, so it's 5:30, but I see 3:03. Am I reading this wrong? Just for my clarification?
So this is 3 a.m.
Right,
on UTC.
here, right? We're looking right here, and I'm sorry for, right here, this is the time.
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct. Yes,
And that's 03 out, 0300, basically 3 a.m., like you said, right?
Yes.
And what is our time at that?
so for UTC, you subtract 4 hours.
Okay,
And so now it'll be 3 minus 4, so it'll be like 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock, okay,
So it then goes to the previous day.
very good.
When you say you subtract 4 hours, that actually changes, does it not, when we have daylight savings time? So sometimes it's 5 hours?
Yes, it gets pretty complicated.
Yeah, okay,
So,
thank you.
and I'm sorry, I don't want
Yeah.
to belabor this, but so in effect, on our time, because this says 5:31, are we backing up the date, so it's actually 5:30?
That's correct.
Thank you. Thank you.
No problem. And that's listed there in what, hours, minutes, and seconds?
That's correct.
Okay, so 3:03 a.m. with 26 seconds, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, just so we are all on the same page. All right, one of mine got arrested. Barry Croft says, call me. Did you find out whether Barry Croft and Joe Morrison spoke on that night?
I did.
Is that in your timeline? Without putting it up, you can just tell us what, if that
Yes.
happens. Okay, and what is that? How long is that phone call?
There was according to phone records, there was a 35-minute phone call between Joe Morrison's phone and Barry Croft's phone.
Okay, and did you ever research, like, one of mine got arrested, what that might mean?
Yes,
Throughout the course of this investigation, did you learn what that meant?
yes.
And what did that mean generally?
That was a member of the Wolverine Watchman, Shane Allen, who had traveled down to Indiana, and he was picked up during some sort of civil unrest down there.
Okay, and so he was arrested by police?
Yes,
All right, and that happened on that same time period, correct?
it was shortly before there, it might have been the day before Joe Morrison learned about the arrest.
Okay.
And they discussed it on wire, and then that's what he's talking about when he calls Barry Croft.
Okay, got it. Thank you. You can unzoom from that. So at this point, we know you can take it down, actually. Thank you. So at this point, you've testified here, just to make sure I'm clear, right? They've become friends on Facebook, and at this point in the end of May, right before the Dublin meeting happens, is Croft putting out content on his Facebook?
Yes, he is.
And tell me about, like, was this content, what was this content generally on Croft's Facebook at this time?
Croft would use Facebook live streams, and he would go live on Facebook for long periods of time. He would speak to his followers. He would speak to other patriots. He would speak to people who were on his page, and he would give instructions and orders as to what he thought should be done.
And was Mr. Morrison one of his followers?
Yes,
Okay, thank you. Can you take a look at, are you familiar with exhibits in 93? You can take a look at 93. In those exhibits.
3. These are posts by Barry Croft on the publicly available posts on his Facebook account.
Okay. And are these all before the Dublin meeting?
Yes, they are.
Okay, thank you. At this point, Joe Morrison's already friends with him, correct?
That's correct.
I'm going to ask you, the ones that you have in your hand there, what what letters are those? What's the exhibit numbers?
Let's see, give me a sec. Believe that I don't have the notes up here with the exhibit numbers. I've got. Got 6 pages here with the dates.
Rough.
Oh, they're right here on the bottom. Yes,
Okay,
sorry.
That's okay.
not a big deal.
It is A through K. I
A
was
through
looking in the
K.
wrong spot.
All right, and what are those? Are those content that you just described, some posts on Mr. Croft's Facebook?
Yes, they are.
Council, just so you're aware, your sheet shows A through F, so are we modifying that to a A through K?
No, Judge, I'm gonna ask him about the rest of them because they're videos and they wouldn't be
Oh,
in the
okay.
folders.
Got it.
Yeah, thank you. So that was A through, what was that again, Agent?
This is A through K.
Thank you. A through K. All right, and that's content that he posted, correct?
That's correct.
All right, now, L and M, those are videos, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So I'm gonna move for admission of A through M, Judge. 93 A through M.
Well, Your Honor, on behalf of Mr. Beller, I'll be objecting. There's been no showing that my clients had any conversations with Mr. Croft up to this point. Wasn't communicating with him in any way, shape, or form. And so as far as my client is concerned, I would object that any of this be used against him.
All right, any objection?
As no objection, Your Honor.
Claim as the foundation that Mr. Musical knew about these posts, Your Honor, at this point.
Sure, Judge, and I'm taking this kind of one person at a time here, but perhaps you could provide a limiting instruction to the jury and that would cure any issue on an objection at this point. Like this information is coming in as to Mr. Morrison at this point, and then I'll follow up with Mr. Musico's relationship. But as you see, Judge, you know, taking this in blocks, so we can all
Digest it.
understand.
It sounds like my objections sustained and we're just waiting for the other. Is that my understanding?
Basically, what he's saying is the only one that's gonna, it's not gonna apply to Mr. Kirkpatrick or Mr. Johnson's client right now. Or in the future unless something else comes out.
So they're admitted, Judge.
They are admitted. Thank you, counsel.
Start with A. Can you tell me what A is?
Sure. A is it's a screen capture of a publicly available Facebook post by BG Croft Jr., which is the account used by Barry Croft.
Thank you. Could you put it up, please? Thank you.
The statement is, I believe, all it's gonna take is one state to burn out and hang a governor, and those dominoes will start falling.
Can you put up B, please?
This is a post with Barry Croft's other Facebook account, Gordon Croft. And he says the lock up your governor challenge. Which one of the beautiful colonies is gonna be the first to snatch a criminal bastard?
Okay, C, please. What's this?
This is a post by Barry Croft from May 3rd. And
Relevant portions.
yeah, it's the second paragraph down from the top, as well as the last paragraph.
Okay,
Barry Croft tagged a user, Steel Ovaries. In Michigan, police stood in front of the people. These governors need arrested. I'll go, send me.
Okay.
And then this is just a different version of the status update from Barry Croft that we just read. It's the same words, the lock up your governor challenge. Which one of the beautiful colonies is going to be the first to snatch a criminal bastard?
this is multi-page. No, thank you. Okay, so that was C. Can you tell me about D? Can you put it up?
Sure. D is a Facebook screen capture of a different account by Barry Croft called Last Croft. from May 25th, 2020.
What's it say?
Says, which governor is going to end up dragged off and hung for treason first? It's really a spin the bottle match at this point. And I'm sure a few mayors are in the running. God bless the constitutional republic.
Yeah. And then we've got some videos here in E. Could you play E? Oh, I'm sorry. Hang on one second. I want to do these in order by date. Yes, it is E, please.
Well, there's any word about it.
These one of the videos that you told us about, Mr. Croft puts out to his followers.
Yes.
Some of us are worried about liberty for our prosperity. Survival isn't a fucking, we don't care. We don't care. Rather see my kids live free than be alive. That's the fucking truth. But y'all, man, hey, y'all keep doing what y'all doing. Because listen, the separation that you're doing for me, I don't even have to work at. It's effortless. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. When your fucking stupid ass ends up hanging from a fucking tree, because you lick the fucking boots that we can't stand as Americans, I don't have no rap for you. I don't have no tears for you. Matter of fact, no fucks given. Fuck you in your throat sideways. Barry Claw, out. God bless the constitutional republic.
93F, please.
There, tell me about be careful. You know they're wanting you to do this so they can pass laws. We get ready to hang motherfuckers, man. We worry about these dumbass laws. You don't see these people erupting? Some of y'all don't recognize what it is. Men have been provoked to wrath. That's what's happened. Men have been provoked to wrath. Good men, honorable men, men that don't want to see nobody hurt. So all you stupid sons of bitches that got that dumbass, soft ass fucking message, man, fuck you in the throat sideways. We don't even want you in our movement. You aren't what's going to get us freedom. Your bitch ass is going to sit there and kneel until you lose everything you got. We don't want you. We weren't looking for you. The Republic needs good men, not faggots, not bitches, not pansies, men. And if you don't know how to do that, stay the fuck out of this fight and don't even claim us, because you ain't one of us. You's a poser. Just like these faggot-ass government officials that are out here posing as public safety and all that shit. You don't got no safety, jackasses. Be careful, be careful. Y'all need to learn how to be Americans and quit being fucking careful. Americans ain't careful. They're reckless. They're hard. They'll hurt you. For real. You take their rights, they'll hurt you. Sick of hearing this soft-ass, bitch-made message for all these years, and you stupid motherfuckers still ain't got it. Well, stay the fuck out of my way, because you end up in my ranks, I'll draw my side on more than you myself, faggots. Fuck y'all. Want to sit here and stay slaves the rest of y'all lives? Do that shit by yourself, man. Get away from me for a minute. I don't have time right now. Hey, listen, man. It's a new game out here. I don't think y'all understand the Patriot movement has evolved. We understand exactly the enemy that confronts us, and we ain't playing with it no more. So if you don't want to do the damn thing, fuck out the ranks. You don't belong with us. Later. God bless and long live the constitutional republic.
93G, please.
Hey, man, listen. I don't give a fuck what anybody says, man. It's time to get unruly for your liberty. Straight up. And I'm willing. I'm willing to put my ass on the line. I'm willing to put my skin in the game. Matter of fact, here's my motherfucking sacred honor right here. Until you get your motherfucking monkey ass out there in the field and fuck around and partake with the animal, I don't really want to hear from you anyway. Because there's a lot of y'all running y'all flaps with y'all bitch asses opinions sitting there behind that computer. And I'm down with that. It's cool. Everything in its place and in its time. That's the perfect design. I understand how it works. I ain't fighting. I ain't got nothing ill to say about you, but you should stay the fuck out of my way.
93H, please.
My guys are liberty motherfuckers, man. Liberty. Somebody called me a liberal the other day. Guess what? Liberal and liberty share a lot of letters. I'm not a liberal, okay? Because I don't even play part in that fucking stupid ass political mafia shit you dumbasses wash your heads in. I don't do any of that. That's gay to me. I want to hang all the motherfuckers. All of them. There is not one motherfucker serving in this bullshit government that I don't want to stick to a motherfucking tree and dangle until they ass fucking tongue hang out their mouth. And you know why? Because they've allowed this to happen to my people. My people suffer because of them. They rule you. You don't tell them nothing. All that voting dumb shit. I sat there arguing with motherfuckers last night about voting. Man, fuck you. And
93I.
your actions speak louder than your motherfucking faggot ass, bitch ass lying words. We know you, dog. We know who you are. And yeah, feds, I'm talking specifically to you. I ain't talking to anybody but you. Your time is up. Our time is now. It's we the people. And your unconstitutional standing army ass is leaving. You're leaving. Your jobs, your careers, your benefits, your pensions, all going the fuck out the window. And I promise you, if Americans like me have anything to do with it, you're gonna fucking find your career at the end of a fucking rope. Pussy ass faggot motherfuckers. Murder another American, you fucking pussies. Murder another one. Y'all get ready to find yourself in a place where you ain't allowed to live here no more. My people gonna come burn your goddamn house down while you sleep, you bitch made faggots. We don't want commies here anymore. It's that simple. Y'all leaving. Go to the ocean. Swim the fuck out of here. Get yourself to Russia somehow. But you communist motherfuckers are leaving. And that I can promise you.
93L.
Y'all need to understand you are at war, dog. You are at war. You've been under attack for years and years and years, and you're just now putting the pieces together, man. Right. Cannon fodder. There's a lot of cannon fodder out here, man. But you know what? Every war needs sandbags. So I'm thankful. I'm thankful because your dead bodies are going to catch bullets and keep them up out of my man's asses. You know what I mean? Look, I love y'all, man. But get the fuck up out of here because glad to say something, get me in jail or whatever. Because, you know, tyrants. But I ain't going to jail. Y'all seen blow on. Y'all know I ain't going to jail. I will stick this motherfucker right up in your ass. Straight up. I ain't going nowhere with you, dog. You ain't taking me nowhere. You can't put me nowhere. Matter of fact, you can't move me. I'm in a motherfucking tractor trailer. So you think you're gonna handle me at work, dog? Bad idea. Bad idea. Outweigh a lot of y'all. And I'm guaranteeing if my people see a tractor trailer dragging fucking cruises and ramming MRAPs, I know my people are gonna show up and help me. I don't know anybody's coming for you. And them airships y'all be flying around, y'all better be careful, man. They're very susceptible to small arms fire. I would keep them out of the airspace when there's hostilities. Helicopter landing in the population, like crash landing in the population, might be even more horrific than looting. You know what I mean? And people don't like you keep your eye on them like that. So they might just do that. You know what I mean? Let's think about people's lives here. You know what I mean? All right, y'all. Love y'all. God bless y'all. And long live the constitutional republic.
Video 93M.
Government, too. Y'all ain't doing nothing about that, though. Fuck that shit, man. I don't give a fuck if you tear this whole motherfucking nation down. It's a bunch of cowards anyway. It need rebuilt with real men. That's the fucking need. I can't wait for war to come to this land. Half of you soft motherfuckers are leaving right there. We can get this thing right amongst that which is left. The hard, the survivors, the real Americans. That's what's going to press on anyway. You soft motherfucking cowards sticking your motherfucking face in the sand, you ain't going to live. I shouldn't even really regard your opinion. You just a dead body waiting to happen. You know what I mean?
We saw Mr. Croft there wearing a hat. What kind of hat was that?
It's a tricorn hat.
What's a tricorn hat?
It's worn by colonialists during the American Revolution.
Thank you. Could you put up exhibit 93J? this?
This is a screen capture of a Facebook post by Barry Croft from May 31st, 2020. The statement is, take those capitals. They can't fuck we the people if we the people hold those capitals.
Thank you. 93K.
The statement from the same day, May 31st, 2020, by Barry Croft. Start putting these tyrants' addresses out here for rioters.
Thank you. You can take that down. Agent, the videos that were all showed, those clips of videos that of Barry Croft. Can you tell me the dates? Do you have that the list of dates those were?
Actually, I think the, not bring that list up here.
Okay, all right.
For clarity's sake, is he going to testify to the dates they were posted or the dates they were made?
I can ask him.
Thank you.
Would it refresh your memory to take a look at kind of an exhibit list?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Can you tell me the date on those videos?
Yes, and to clarify, the dates here are the dates from the Facebook search warrant record. So most of these videos were live streamed, but some of them were uploaded. I'm sorry, the date of the first video was May 28th, 2020. The date of the next video, the next 4 videos were May 29th, 2020. And the date of the last 2 videos were May 31st, 2020.
Thank you. So this is within like a week of the Dublin meeting. Is that right?
That's correct.
And after Mr. Morrison is already friends with Mr. Croft, correct, on Facebook?
That's correct.
Okay, so you told us about recordings of the meeting in Dublin. Mr. Croft attended, correct?
That's correct.
Anyone else attend that meeting?
Adam Fox attended the meeting.
Okay, thank you. Talked about what the meeting was for. Can you tell me kind of like where it took place?
Sure. The meeting took place at the Drury Inn in Dublin, Ohio. There was a conference room at the hotel.
And what was kind of the format of the meeting?
Everybody sat around the conference room table, and then introductions were made, and they went around the table introducing which state you were from, which state you were representing, and what your name was.
In the board that's the subjects of investigation board. I'm sorry, you know what? Strike that question. What were some of the topics discussed at the meeting?
The topics were the need for action and which governors were tyrannical and how to coordinate attacks between states.
You know, at this point, I'm going to object to this meeting on June 6th. It's not relevant to my client. He's not met Barry Croft at this point. He's not met Adam Fox at this point. He's not present at this meeting. He doesn't hear what's going on at this meeting. And for purposes of my client, it's not relevant.
Any response?
Well, Judge, I mean, that's an, you know, he can argue that after all the evidence is presented about, you know, what was conveyed back about the meeting and all this stuff, but there's plenty of evidence in the record at this point. Mr. Bellard discussed with Mr. Morrison that this meeting is occurring and whether they should go or not. And so, you know, the evidence that's going to come in after this meeting about what happened at the meeting is also going to be discussed. And so, hold on a second, please. So I believe it is relevant, but they could also get a limiting instruction as to how to use it at this point, Judge. The jury could.
Well, yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, number one, I already got the standing objection. And I thought we were going to address the limiting instruction at the end of the case because it's going to apply to everything that's been admitted at some point for every defendant. I wouldn't even ask the court to do that every single time. We can handle that. And I think the parties of agreement, there's going to have to be some instructions on that. But I'm willing to wait to the end of the trial.
I'm not.
Patrick,
Sorry, Your Honor.
go ahead.
I'm not, because this is June 6th. If they can show me some evidence that Mr. Beller had direct communication with Adam Fox on June 6th or Barry Croft on June 6th, would be relevant. But to have a meeting go on and have a jury hear about all of these things that happened at this June 6th meeting, even if my client heard rumblings of that there was a meeting in Ohio, he didn't go and he didn't know these guys. And so now what happens is limiting instructions, we know what limiting instructions are, Your Honor, so
Right.
I'll stay away from that.
Judge-
But
Hold on. Oh, let him finish.
But if they somehow think that somehow down the road, my client somehow met Barry Croft and somehow now this becomes relevant, is ridiculous. So from, as far as my client's concerned, at least the record is clear. Unless they can show something different. When these meetings took place, my client had not spoken directly with Barry Croft or Adam Fox. He was not present at this meeting. That's my objection, Your Honor. It's not relevant.
Judge, that's a lot of argument that you can make to the jury and closing arguments, Judge, but at this point, I have played this court and this jury several clips where Mr. Bellar at least has the knowledge that he doesn't want to go to this meeting because his whole leadership might get taken out, that feds might be there, you know? So at this point, Judge, I think it's circumstantial evidence that he knows exactly what's going on in this meeting.
Now his statements get mischaracterized. It wasn't my client that said that. Let's get it together, Your Honor. I mean, my client didn't say our whole command structure can be taken out. The prosecutor should know that.
Well, let's look at the transcript.
Let's look at it.
Like
Because
we
I
did.
recall
Pull up the
something,
transcripts.
they were worried
Happy to do
about
that.
all of them going down when he couldn't go to the first, wasn't the first meeting, let's go to the second one if they have one.
Correct. My client didn't say, I'm afraid all our command structure will be taken out. That's my point, Your Honor. My client didn't say that.
Okay, let's double check it.
And may I say something else, Your Honor, before? we just look at-
Absolutely, go ahead.
And furthermore, just because you know a meeting, if I know a meeting's taking place down the road and I don't go to it, and something happens at that meeting, something said at that meeting, that somehow can be attributed back to me. I didn't go to it. I didn't know anybody at it. I never met anybody at it. I never communicated with anybody at it. How does that in any way, shape, or form get attributed to me when I didn't even go? Just because I knew a meeting might be occurring.
And
Judge,
would
I
even
think that's
piggyback on that,
argument.
Your Honor, that even if I know somebody that's going, their actions, their conversations don't impugn to me, right? If Mr. Morrison doesn't go, just because he may have been in touch with somebody who went, doesn't mean that he's responsible for anything that took place at the Brewery Hotel in their conference room, you know, in Dublin, Ohio.
Can I put up a couple of transcripts, Judge? The court, 87, please. Okay, could you zoom in? Bellar is talking about Ohio being an honorable place for CPL, right? We could all go packing heat. Yeah, this is the thing. Y'all end up killing somebody, y'all going to prison right now. If we get caught, yes. So he's talking about Ohio and the potential of having to kill someone. I'm going to direct you to exhibit 88. Okay, the middle of there, he's in New Hampshire, which is a reference to Barry Croft. We just don't want to walk into a situation we don't know anything about. Mr. Bellar asks, is he a boog boy or is he just a Trumpster? Mr. Morrison replies, he's a boog boy. Mr. Bellar says, okay, all right. Hang on. Exhibit 90, where Mr. Bellar, where Mr. Bellar says, this sounds like something that a lot of feds are going to be at. And Jada Morrison says, right, there are too many things. Instead of convention, you're going to have feds there flat out. And if it's at somebody's house, you don't want to go because you don't know what the fuck they got set up. Exhibit 91, again, Mr. Bellar is present at this meeting while they are all having conversations. And it's all very clear. It's not like there's a lot of moving around or side conversations. This is my main concern, right? So like, I only feel comfortable going if we all go, right? As agreed. The downside to that is if feds are there, our entire leadership is gone.
That's Daniel Harris. Your Honor, right, this is Daniel Harris. This was a statement that prosecution just attributed to Mr. Bellar, that the leadership was be gone. Yes, there's a meeting. There may be a meeting going on here in this house but there's no evidence being presented for, and I'm gonna overstep a little bit, but we don't know who's in the room as this is being said. People get up, people go to the bathroom, people go outside to smoke. Any number of things take people in and out of conversations. So this, again, this is the context in this is very convoluted. And so we're going to say that because people have these conversations in and out, that somehow that attributes to what's going on at the Drury Inn Hotel Convention Room in Dublin, Ohio. I think it's ludicrous.
Your Honor, the only thing I'm going to say is it's clear from those messages that Mr. Beller didn't know Barry Croft because he said, is he a boob boy or a Trumpster? He had no knowledge of who Mr. Croft was. And if they can present something to me that my client knew who Mr. Croft was or spoke directly with Mr. Croft prior to June 6th, I wouldn't be making this argument. Just because you're at a meeting and somebody's talking about a meeting in Dublin, Ohio that they end up not going to and they've never met him before, how is that relevant to my client? It's not. That's my argument.
Judge, my argument is it sounds like weight and not admissibility at this point. They can argue whatever they want about who had knowledge of what. And that's fine. That's a weight issue, not an admissibility issue.
It's not a weight issue, Your Honor. If the court lets this in, right, then it's an admissibility issue, right? Then we have to deal with the weight. But the problem is it shouldn't come in because the foundation and the extrapolation to get there is too far-fetched.
I think we were talking about whether the question give a limiting instruction now or later. And got down this road because the prosecution said Mr. Bellar made a statement. They read a bunch of transcripts, but when we got to the actual statement, we now see it was Mr. Harris that made the statement. So I'm just the court. Me and Mr. Kirkpatrick disagree on, and that's fair, you know, as to whether limiting instruction should be given now or and every single time, or just wait until the end of the trial. I think the court can just give a general limiting instruction now, which is what I said in my opening.
It's fine.
Part of this case is jurors gonna have to turn their notebook sideways and contribute stuff to everybody, and then we can do it at the end. And I think Mr. Kirkpatrick thinks that's
I agree
fine.
with that. If we get a limiting instruction at the end, I've made my record. Let's see if they can do with this, but
And with the convolutedness of all of this, I think this is going to be difficult for the jury. So I do think there needs to be some kind of limiting instruction that says, you know, you have to be able to parse this out. And I think we tried to flush this out during voir dire, but there is this, again, and I'm not trying to comment again on the chronologicalness of this to follow, but back and forth with people. Again, how do we separate Mr. Morrison from Mr. Musico, from Mr. Bellar, when we're just throwing all of this against the wall?
They're just throwing it against the wall. There's discussions about meeting up with at the meeting in Dublin.
And what I mean by that, if I may, is
At
that
a later meeting, not this one.
right, but
the first
at
one.
this meeting that they're just putting up here, not the Dublin meeting, right? But we've got, and what I mean by throwing it against the wall is you're having a conversation with, you know, this person and this person and this person and this person, and we're attributing to the fact that everybody's there. But this isn't a one-room conference at the Drury Hotel. This is somebody's house or somebody, you know, wherever, where people can come and go. And I think the context is relevant. If Dan Harris is going to pontificate that, oh, well, our leadership could be taken down, well, the person that they're going to cite and say, this is who he's speaking to, and this is the response may in fact be relevant. But if Dan Harris is talking to, you know, Mr. Musico, and there's no evidence in that little snippet that Joe Morrison is there, how does that attribute to Joe Morrison? Just because it was there.
Judge, the transcripts of the clips at that meeting, Judge, Mr. Morrison is saying this is a meeting to get on a national game plan. That's part of the transcript. So now I'm talking about the meeting.
Quite frankly,
Your Honor,
I'm not going to get into if they can show they were at the meeting, whether they were outside to go out and have a cigarette or go to the bathroom, whatever, and weren't there for a few of the comments that were made. Oh, well, they're at the meeting. Now, as to your objection, your client had no participation with this, right?
that's correct, Your Honor. All the discovery I've seen, and I'm sure Agent Empala will show me something different. On June 6th, when this took place, my client had no direct contact with Barry Croft or Adam Fox. He never met Adam Fox or Barry Croft personally anywhere
At this time.
at this time. Yes, Your Honor. So as long as the jury knows that, I'll withdraw my objection and we can play it. That's really my issue, Your Honor. I want to.
But later on, well, we'll get to that.
Correct. And
For the time
I still
being-
don't think that's going to happen.
Okay. Let me also sort of give you a little background. All the attorneys here, special agent here, have lived with this case. They know it inside and out. Okay? You're hearing it, you're getting these, trying to keep track of everything that's going on. I know somewhat of the case from having hearings on it. My knowledge of the case is nothing compared to what we've got sitting in front of us. So at this point, I am going to advise you that Mr. Kirkpatrick's client, Mr. Bellar, was not present at that meeting. I'm not going to comment on what I think is going to come out, just the purpose where we're at. We're going to go ahead and hear more. I'm going to allow you to go forward. But to give you sort of an idea of how this is coming about, because they've had plenty of time to learn this case inside and out. So what we've got to do is try and give you as much information as we possibly can so that you can make an informed decision when you get back in the jury room. Go ahead, counsel.
Thank you, Judge. Okay, we were at topics discussed at this meeting. Can you tell us what kind of topics were discussed at this meeting?
Sure. They discussed representatives and governors in other states and
Objection as to they, Your Honor.
Those part, do you know who was present?
so there's about 13 to 15 people present at the jury end, and they're representing their various states. So Adam Fox was representing Michigan, as well as Bill Knoll was from Michigan.
But these gentlemen were not there.
That's correct. None of the defendants were at the,
And I would object, Your Honor, to representing. That gives it some official title. If they're going to say they were from Michigan, that's one thing. But to say I'm here representing Michigan over people that may or may not have had any input into the representation, I would just object to that phraseology.
In response to
I'll
that.
just ask a question about that.
Check, go ahead.
When you say they represent Michigan, what do you mean?
that means Barry Croft asked somebody from the state of Michigan to come. And then following the meeting, they were assigned roles, and Adam Fox was assigned to be representing Michigan moving forward after the meeting. So coming into the meeting, he was just somebody from Michigan. And then after the meeting, he was the commander of the 2nd Continental Army under Barry Croft, representing the state of Michigan.
And then it would be up to him to inform whoever he was working with.
Correct. Yes, then he's in charge of the attack planning in Michigan.
But as far as being in charge, he's only in charge of those individuals that are willing to listen to him.
That's correct.
13 people.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Was anything specific to Michigan discussed in the meeting?
Yes.
What?
The group talked about the April 30th, 2020 event in the Capitol. So on the timeline, that's number 5.
Okay.
And they talked about Governor Whitmer and said she was a tyrant. And they talked about how she had property up north in her vacation home.
And Adam Fox, you said, was at this meeting, correct?
That's correct.
You said he's from Michigan, right?
Yes,
What city did he live in Michigan?
Grand Rapids.
Is he there with anybody?
He's there with his fiancee, Amanda Keller.
And you familiar with exhibits number 94 through 96? I'm sorry, I'm gonna ask 94 to 98. Are you familiar?
Yes,
What are they?
these are transcripts from the Dublin meeting. They're in chronological order from June 6th.
And do they, from 94 to 96, are those Barry Croft speaking? Maybe.
Yes.
Okay, and our 97 and 98, Mr. Fox speak.
Yep.
Fair and accurate.
They are.
Thank you. I'm gonna move for their admission.
I'm going to admit them, but understand none of these gentlemen were at this meeting. But
Thank you, Judge. You play
Based on
94.
that, no objection, Your Honor.
Yeah, no objection.
Play 94.
So, we know that we have to take action, there are levels of action. Various information, utilizing all these tools. I'm gonna go hurt people. I'm gonna go hurt people real fucking bad, and I apologize. I'm sorry. I'm gonna burn motherfucking houses down, blow shit up. I'm gonna do some of the most nasty, disgusting things that you have ever read about me. And I get serious in life. I like them. I listen, and I'm sorry for that. I really am. Well, don't, because it's wrong. Because one of the commandments I was commanded, and I have to break that, Father knows why. I've already asked permission, it's been granted. I'm not worried about it anymore. I'm gonna give it a second thought. If I have to fly through a motherfucker, burn his whole motherfucking family to the ground, knowing that I have one myself, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna do it.
90.
Without the people, without the lowest of the low, there's no reason for us to do it. You know what I mean? Now, it pisses me off, I drive by these people that are out there with stumbling around the field, trying going on people driving by with us, their life, got empty houses out here that bank for real. Listen, I'll go to your bank and I'll strip your employees butt motherfucking naked and I'll degrade them dressed like a fucking FBI agent. You think I'm fucking lying? That's fuck around and find out. You can already fuck around and find out. I'll cut my own fucking cheek and put a shawl on you if your fucking facial recognition is not understand you pick up and I'll cover everything but that floor. I'll become a new motherfucker right before your eyes. I need to find myself as an entertainer. But I'm getting ready to go kick loose with fucking animals like myself. Now, you're gonna need to publicize this thing, because I'm gonna do stupid shit. I might murder a cop, grab his fucking uniform, put it on, and go murder a vet, just to get them fighting within themselves. I want them to do, no, I'm not being like that as well. I'm being fucking serious, as a heart attack taken like once. You know, the thing of it is, they've been doing this to me, they've been dressing like me and you and going out there. You opened Pandora's box. You opened up all the weapons that are in that team. Okay, I would have never had the dominant weapons if we didn't try to take our own first. This fight started in Evansville. We're just getting ready to go rehash it for another time on Earth. It's happened thousands of times. Everything under the sun. Been giants at my gate before. Not worried about it. We ready to go talk, talk. I'm a hurting bag. I'm gonna terrorize. You want a terrorist? You labeled me a terrorist. I'm gonna go be what I am. I'm gonna go be what I am. You're all terrorists.
96.
I'm gonna be hit. I have very little time left before they come shoot me the fuck up in the middle of the night. I intend to go out like that. So I'm done with my call one day when I get back. I'm going. You can fucking have a funeral and everything today. And I'm gonna leave. And I'm gonna get into the field. And I'm gonna start operating. And I guarantee you that motherfuckers are gonna join up at my flank because they're gonna love the shit that I'm getting ready to do. I'm getting ready to level buildings, burn motherfuckers' houses down with them inside of it. And I'm getting ready to fucking put it there so you can all see it. Listen, you might terrorize when they terrorize people. I'm gonna go terrorize the right people, the people that have been terrorizing my people. So you gotta take these officers, fucking guard pump out your shit. Probably gonna hose your shit down with fucking sprayers in the night. Set your shit on fire. and record you screaming that you can't fucking leave. You show that to the people, hey, listen, man, sorry, you shouldn't be on the wrong side, dude. My bad. And look, and when I do that, I'm gonna have hood rats coming out. I'm gonna have people that aren't operators coming out. They're gonna press their fucking luck into nature, taking these faggots out for you. You ain't even gonna have to train them, Steve. The natural progression and the rats that they have inspired in man is gonna take care of it. I'm just gonna fucking show you how to do it with a couple of instructional videos that they can't take the fuck out.
97.
96.
I think a lot of great ideas with every day. I mean, you think it's all very bad. I think the most important thing about right now is that to make it every easy thing. And we go to the Capitol with arms, but we get our fucking house to listen to us and vote to end the single order. Then we have a principal governor. Undo that and not on the check the bill of our state government. But yet, we're calling domestic fucking terrorists. Not one silent fucking thing happened there that day. Not one silent thing happened when the multiple rallies we had in our capital. Okay? That's another thing I think that's true. I think the rallies we fucking. And to be honest, in my state, it's very sad. I don't think we can get 1,000 people. Yeah, I hear so many people on the internet, but yet they can't make a trip to the Capitol for an activist. I had a little bit of Michigan said, oh, we did. We went down to the house. Already in that big one. We went there, we took what we had, and we let our country know, we fucking found our feet, we took the fucking all that kind of stuff.
But hey, I'd like to say just one thing real quick.
Yes.
We should not go to a rally if we don't have control, if we don't have the manpower.
We have all.
10 men.
Right there, like, we were affected that day. Our house heard us, they voted in our favor. They said, at midnight, that fucking night. We know right now, where does she live at?
I know,
and yet I can't get, I have a couple, look at my state, I have over 200 members, and we can't get more than a handful of their members, so our fucking line, his militia's at every fucking thing. The whole battle, every fucking one, the only municipality that can top my state right now, because the only ones that fucking see out there acting. You know, it's fucking crazy, so I got militias that rag about how they have over 200 fucking men to get kicked over a handful of people there. And they had 5 cars full of people battle ready in Grand Rapids, the night it fucking burnt out. They went down there and drove around for less than an hour. By the time they got there, they were leaving to go home because, well, they were battle ready, but half of them had PPL and shit. I said, well, the fucking park your ass, get the fuck out, don't be scary. But no, it was small fucking 20, 25, everybody, I'm at Grand Rapids and they're fucking leaving. Not even 25 minutes later, our fucking city's burning down. But they got their fucking pictures, they got their photo fucking out.
Ninety-eight.
Get them all up, same time, you say, there you have that, and human life is a value, to it, right?
Are they gonna
Now, we're not just taking Rick more borders, now we actually have something that's valuable thing. We have their Rick counterpart. I have at least, you know, they're gonna be there, it's fucking great now. If you come that, it's all fucking shit they do. I have every part, we really got our own. Operating field, you know, they're inside, they go there, but they have one right now, don't stay to work. Everybody parking different things, okay, shoot up like, and they, and they fly this, that'll be every way.
Before you get going.
Yeah.
Why don't we take just a 5-minute break, let you get up, use the restroom. When you're all set, we'll bring you back in.
Back in 2 minutes.
No, I said Corey, he wanted a new.
No. This pen.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were talking about with the
No,
speed.
well, Corey forgot to turn my camera off, so I did that.
Is it a Please be seated. You're ready, Ms.
Thank you,
Dynamite.
Judge. Agent, well, we heard a lot of clips for the meeting. Can you tell me what the takeaway was from the meeting?
Takeaway from the meeting was a three-phase plan. The first phase was recruiting. Each representative from their state was to go out and look for more men.
Object as to foundation. Is he not giving his opinion or is there some factual?
Let me ask a different question.
Yep.
Did the meeting attendees, including Barry Croft and Adam Fox, talk about what would happen next? What they would do after this meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Tell me about that.
Adam Fox stated they would be going out in the three-phase plan. The first phase being recruiting. They'd go to their states and look for like-minded men to fight with. The second stage would be planning. Representatives from the state would brainstorm different attack plans and then bring them forward. And they'd be discussed at the next meeting. And then the final stage was preparation and the attack.
And you said there would be another meeting, is that right?
Yes.
Is that discussed by attendees? What meeting would that be or where?
Well, there was a training in Wisconsin and then a meeting shortly following that. That was the second meeting, which was in Peoples, Ohio.
Okay, thank you. All right. I want you to take a look at exhibit number 99.
I have it here.
What is it?
This is a screen capture from Facebook from Adam Fox's Facebook. And it's of Barry Croft and Adam Fox at the Dublin meeting.
Okay, move for its admission, Judge.
No objection.
No objection, Your Honor.
Standing objection.
Good. Admitted.
Thank you. Who just put it on? Tell us who's in there.
So Adam Fox is on the left and Barry Croft is on the right.
What are they doing?
They're holding up the 3% sign.
And what's the 3% sign?
Stands for 3%. So 3% of the American population that's needed to fight against the government.
Okay, thank you. Get that now? Okay. Mr. Morrison, even though we've determined he's not in attendance at the meeting, did he check back in with Mr. Croft about how the meeting went?
Yes, he did.
Did you put exhibit 3 up and put page 2 up? Sorry, agent, exhibit 3. This is 10. Page 2. Oh, I'm sorry.
You want exhibit 5.
Thank you very much. Exhibit 5. Apologies, it's already been admitted. So we already saw this here, right, Agent? This was the call me.
Correct.
Okay, and this is communications between Joe Morrison and Barry Croft, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, if you could zoom this area, please. So now it's June 8th, right?
Yes,
2 days after the Dublin meeting.
correct.
Okay, and tell me this exchange between the two individuals.
Joe Morrison says NVM. Never mind. I figured out who it was. LOL. How did the meet go? Barry Croft stated fabulously. Joe Morrison said, sorry, I couldn't make it. Any more down the pipe? Barry Croft said, please explain. Joe Morrison said, are there any more coming up? Barry Croft said, yes, get with Adam Dean Fox. We are going to, as we had historically. 2nd Continental Michigan Regiment is forming as a constitutional defense apparatus. Joe Morrison stated, I'll reach out.
And ask you to look at exhibit 101A.
All right, I have 101.
101A, just A. What is it?
This is a Facebook business record from 6/9, so June 9th, 2020.
What is the content of it? What's it about?
This is, it's a post by Barry Croft in which he tags Pete Musico and Adam Fox.
Okay, does he say something about Mr. Fox?
Yes, he does.
Okay, I'm gonna move for its admission.
Any objections?
Still standing objection based on the fact that tagging somebody doesn't necessarily mean there's communication. You know, so
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Admitted.
Could you show it, please? Can you zoom in? Tell me about this.
June 9th, 2020, Barry Croft replied to a post and he tagged Pete Musico. I have no doubt very shortly. Then he tagged Adam Fox, is working on the 2nd Continental Michigan Regiment. Constitutional defense being of the essence, wherever I am invited, I'll make haste.
Thank you. So this is essentially, and you can go back to, if you could. So this, hold on a second. So, get that right. Mr. Croft is telling Mr. Morrison to reach out to Adam Fox, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And he tells him to do so. Does Morrison do that?
Yes.
Okay. And roughly how much time passes between the time Mr. Croft instructs Mr. Morrison to get in touch with Adam Fox?
I believe it's about 20 minutes.
Okay. You take a look at exhibit 6.
Yes, I have it here.
Okay, what is it?
There are Facebook business records between Joe Morrison and Adam Fox.
You want to move for submission?
Doesn't affect my client, no objection.
No objection, Your Honor.
Standing.
Why don't you look at 102 to 104?
Counsel.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It hasn't been admitted
I'm
yet.
sorry, Jeff.
6 is admitted.
Thank you, sir. All right. Could you put up page 1 of that exhibit? That's exhibit 6. And if you could, like this area here. What are you looking at it on this exhibit as a whole here?
So these are direct messages between George Bunyan, that's Joe Morrison's Facebook account, and Fox AD, which is Adam Fox's Facebook account.
Okay, so on the same day that he's instructed to get a hold of Mr. Fox, what happens?
Morrison said, last told me to get a hold of you.
And that's reference to who?
Last Croft, which is Barry Croft's Facebook account.
Go ahead.
Adam Fox said, what's up? Joe Morrison stated, I run a group called the Wolverine Watchmen. No, I will not disclose my numbers, but we are decent sized. Heard we have the same goal.
You could leave that up there, but Agent, if you could take a look at exhibits 102, 103, and 104.
Yes,
Okay, what are those?
these are Facebook voice messages. So on Facebook, you can talk into your phone and send a voice message, and then that clip will be transmitted via Facebook direct message.
You could zoom out. On the right side of the screen are those Facebook records for the voice messages.
Yeah, so that's the transmission of a corresponding voice message.
Do these 102 to 104 correspond to this exhibit, exhibit 6?
Yes,
Thank you. I'm gonna move to their admission, Judge.
102 to 106. Any objection?
No objection.
Valley,
No, Your Honor, apologies. No objection, Your Honor.
Johnson,
standing.
standing. 102 to 106 are admitted.
Thank you. So here, we just read, heard we have the same goal. Is that right?
yes.
Okay. And then could you zoom into this, please? This box. Mr. Fox says we need to link up securely.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
And then, so Adam Fox says we need to link up securely. Then Adam Fox says not here and not on the phone. And then Adam Fox sends a voice clip.
Okay, can you play exhibit 102, please?
Fact, when we meet, we need to have no phones within 100 yards of us. We keep it very delicate about operational security when we meet.
And does Mr. Fox then send 2 more voice clips via Facebook?
Yes, he does.
Okay, can you play 103?
But if Barry said we have the same common goal, then I'm sure we do, and me and you definitely need to sit down and talk.
Me and you definitely need to sit down and talk.
Yes.
Thank you. Can you play 104?
I hope you don't mind if we're taking any offense to this, but I don't know you, so if you give me maybe your first name and just a couple of credentials so I could screen you, please.
You go back to exhibit 5 and go to page, go zoom out. So this area here, those are the other 2 clips that we saw, we just heard?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
You go to the next page, please. Can you, can you go into here? What are we seeing here?
So this is June 8th, 2020.
Same day?
Same day, Joe Morrison stated, look forward to having a nice sit down. Adam Fox stated, likewise, brother. Joe Morrison stated, stay frosty, brother, and long live the Republic. God bless. Adam Fox stated, God bless. Joe Morrison stated, bro, your videos get me fucking hype. You go on the 18th? Adam Fox stated, yes, sir. I'm sorry, and that the last 2 statements are from June 10th.
Okay. So we're talking about June 8th, this happened, and then on June 10th, you're saying, bro, your videos get me fucking hype, you going the 18th. What's the reference to the 18th there?
So that's June 18th. There was a planned Second Amendment rally at the state capitol in Michigan.
Okay. Now this is June 10th. Did Mr. Morrison become friends with Fox on Facebook?
Yes, he did.
For that date?
Yes, he did.
Okay. Can you go to the comms chart, exhibit number 10, please? Okay, and if you could tell me when this communication start, like what date?
Sure. So on 6/8, George Bunyan friends Adam Fox on Facebook. I'm on the left side of the timeline.
So that same day, now they're friends on Facebook, correct?
That's correct.
And 2 days later, Mr. Morrison saying, your videos get me hyped, correct?
That's correct.
All right, and have you reviewed exhibits in exhibit folder 100,
Yes,
A through X?
yes.
Okay, and what are those?
Those are videos posted to Facebook by Adam Fox. So very similar to Barry Croft, Adam Fox would do live streams typically while he's on his way to work. He would upload or live stream these videos to his followers on Facebook.
So I'd like to ask you about exhibits A through X. And is this the content that's posted on Adam Fox's Facebook page, for which Joe Morrison is talking about?
Yes,
You said objection, or how does he?
I'm sorry, that was awkwardly phrased. Is this content that I'm asking about in exhibit 100, is that Adam Fox's content?
yes,
Okay, and now Mr. Morrison has said, your videos get me hyped, correct?
correct.
Are there videos in exhibit number 100
Yes,
labeled various letters, correct?
correct.
Okay, thank you. And they are from that date or before, Is that correct?
That's correct.
Thank you very much. I'm gonna move to their efficient judge.
I'm gonna object on it. I don't know that these are the videos that my client's referring to. And I don't know that there was a foundation laid that these are the only videos on Mr. Fox's page. So if there's 200 videos and we're gonna see this 100, we don't know. There's been no foundation laid that these are the videos that Mr. Morrison's referring to.
Well, he's saying videos, so we know there is more than one that he's getting hype about. And so what I'm trying to do is I laid a foundation, I believe, to show that any videos from before that time, and I can narrow down the dates with the witness judge on when these videos were posted. That is the content I'm looking to provide here.
And she's saying that any videos that were listed before, but is this the entire collection of his videos? If he posted these videos from May 1st to May 30th, but Mr. Morrison watches something posted in February, if it's still out there, how do we know, right? We're just saying that these are the videos that are there. These had to be all the videos he watched, and we don't know that.
Let me hear from.
Let's ask a couple of questions to the agent, perhaps.
Agent, would you be able to explain that?
I can't. All I know is that on this day, he's talking about videos that were posted recently. And so what I did is I went to Facebook and I looked for videos that were posted recently, and I captured those videos that were recent before the date that Joe Morrison said I watched your videos.
And recent being.
Few days.
Okay.
But he doesn't say that on there. It doesn't say your most recent videos or your recent videos. He says your videos, right? If there's 300 videos that he's posted, how do we know this is what he's talking about?
Did you get all the videos? Like, tell us what happened when you looked through.
Yeah, so I looked through his videos, and then I looked for any videos that he may have been posting. I couldn't find any other videos except for those ones for that time period.
For that time period. What about before that?
There were many videos before that, correct?
Yeah, I'm assuming.
So generally speaking, on the way to work, Adam Fox would speak to his followers and upload videos into his car. So just about every day in the morning, he would talk to the patriots under him on the way to work.
I guess my concern is I don't know that this is a complete list of his videos, and therefore we don't know what videos Mr. Morrison's referring to when he says this allegedly in this response. So to show these and say, well, this is what got Mr. Morrison all hyped up, how do you know that? How he says he doesn't know. And if he doesn't know and he only looked at the recent videos, I'm not a Facebook person, but I think if you post it, unless you delete it, it's there. And I don't know how far back you got to go to say this is all of them.
He already said that's all he could find.
That's within that time frame.
Right.
Here's what I propose, Judge. I propose, there's a lot here, right?
Right.
There is just a few that are from the 8th of June when Mr. Morrison makes a comment, okay, or 2 days later, right? There's 6/8 and 6/9. So that's a couple of the videos. And then I can ask the agent too, if the agent knows Mr. Morrison watched for any reason. Perhaps there was a comment or something like that, and we can narrow those down and I can just play those.
And can you give me the dates when Fox and Morrison started?
Communicating.
Yeah.
6/8, Judge. They became friends on Facebook so you can see each other's content. And then 6/10 is when he says your videos get me hyped. I'm proposing
I guess-
6/8,
And would these
6/9.
videos be the ones that were still on his page as of 6/8?
Yes, because that's what has been captured in the records.
Is
Yes,
that correct?
that's correct.
Then I'm going to overrule your objection,
Thank you, Your Honor.
because all he's going to see is, he's not going to have access until 6/8.
Correct.
When they get
But
friends. And if these are only videos that were available as of 6/8, he wouldn't have been able to go back any farther.
I don't think that's what was testified. These are the only ones that he captured within the
I'm
time frame.
misunderstanding what you're saying.
So once you become friends with somebody, you can actually scroll back and then see all the historical videos that were posted,
That's my
unless they're
issue, Your Honor.
specifically deleted.
Okay, but I thought you said this is all you could find when you were looking.
So when I went to, was 6:10 when he stated he viewed the video. So I went to 6:10 and then I looked for videos from 6:08 to 6:10 to try to find which videos Mr. Morrison was referring to.
So those are just between those two
Those,
dates?
yeah, so these videos are the videos that were between those 2 days. And I did find other videos earlier on that he could have viewed, but I can't say that
Right.
that he would.
And I guess, can the agent tell us that he knows which videos Mr. Morrison's supposedly viewed?
Well, but they're only gonna be bringing up those ones, the most recent ones, 6:08 to 6:10, which I understand what you're saying. Overruled.
Did you turn your mic off?
Oh, I'm sorry. I had my mic off too. Very-
So they are admitted, Judge?
They are admitted.
Thank you. So I'm just gonna ask to play a few videos here. And we'll start with 100 Q. Is the date of 6/8/2020.
Fucking play around either. I'm on every one of their motherfucking lists already. I'm going. They know what's up. They know what's gonna happen. And one day I'm sure they will, but until then, I'm gonna do what I can to organize. So it's time to either nut up or shut up.
100 R.
The time is here. The time for talk is over. The time for action is now. No more of this paper patriotism. No more paper patriots. Fucking time to put up, calling everybody, MHG, MLM, every fucking militia in the state of Michigan.
100 S.
Look, at the end of the day, if your heart's not in this and you're not dedicated and committed, just sit the fuck down and shut up. We've done the rallies, done all that shit. Time to talk is over. Action is required. Action will be taken.
100 T.
If you wanna be serious about some shit, hit my inbox. And then we'll relay communications from there. I'll let you point. You back this page of shit. That's it.
All these on the same day. So 100 U, also same date.
So let me ask what everyone's going to do, because they took away our livelihoods, they took away our day-to-day life while they went along as you, because, you know, we live beneath them and all. Who's ready to go take some politicians and put them on trial?
For 6/9, meaning June 9th, 2020, 100 B.
I'm gonna keep calling everybody out, so y'all step up, start showing the fuck up. I ain't open, man. I don't stop. I don't give a fuck, no. Shut me up, show up, do something. Put your gear on and do something with it instead of cosplay.
100 W.
I'm not playing, yo. At this point, I feel like some of y'all are just cosplay, man. Support all this game. Fucking use it. We have a tyrannical governor who says fucking rights and basically tyrannical ruled our state.
Thank you. After this date, so now we're on June 10th, 2020, does Morrison receive an invite from Mr. Fox?
Yes,
And that's on June 12th, is that correct?
yes.
Can you take a look at exhibit 105, please?
I have it here.
And what is that?
This is a voice clip, so and it's transmitted via Facebook. So you're talking into your phone and then transmitting that clip via Facebook.
And I'm gonna move for its admission, Judge.
Any objection?
No objection.
No objection, Your Honor.
Standing.
Standing. 105 is admitted.
Thank you. Can you play it, please?
Hey, my bad, man. I've been so busy with this fucking security job at Menards for Pinkerton. I got one more 12-hour day tomorrow, and then I got free time. I want to have a meeting next Saturday, possibly at my back in Grand Rapids on 36th and Division, right on the corner there. I have a secure basement where we could all kind of sit and talk. If you're down with that, let me know. Maybe some other guys come from a couple other militias, and then we'll kind of like talk hypothetically some shit that could go down. Okay, does that sound all right?
Does Mr. Morrison do anything with this clip?
Yes, he sends it to the Wolverine Watchman leadership, and he sends it to Dan individually, and he sends it to Paul Bellar individually.
Sends it to Paul Bellar individually. And is that something you can source on Facebook records and tell?
Yes,
Okay, thank you. Okay, can you take a look at exhibit number 106?
I have it here.
Is that Morrison's response to that invitation?
Yes, and this is another voice clip talking into your phone and transmitting it via Facebook.
Thank you. I'm going to move for its admission, Judge.
No objection, Your
No
Honor.
objection.
106 is admitted.
Can you play 106, please, with the transcript?
Yeah, let me talk to my guys, see if Saturday works for all of them. If not, at least, a few of them. There's only like, less than 10 of us, I'll just say that. But, I'll get back to you.
Mr. Morrison, in fact, do what he says here?
Yes, he does.
I think you look at 111 and 110.
Yes, I have him here.
Is that Mr. Morrison communicating with his group about this?
Yes, so 110 is wire leadership screen captures. And 111 is wire chat logs from the leadership chat.
Okay, move for their admission, Judge.
Objections? No objection.
No objection.
Standard.
Can you show me
110.
111, please?
110 and 1, please wait till,
Sorry, Judge. I'm sorry.
I know you're ready to go, but
I'm sorry.
110 and 111 are admitted.
111, please. Okay, can you go to the top?
This is a chat log from June 10th. This is the leadership chat 20, and this is 2020. This is source Dan tags Joe Morrison and says at Boog Daddy Bunyan, that's awesome on Ohio. Did they say what it was over or anything when we can do a meeting? Sounds like no shit stuff.
To be clear, was Dan in Ohio?
No.
Okay, thank you. Next section.
Joe Morrison stated, I have a contact here in Michigan, gonna be after like the 18th. We can do a sit down with, and yeah, it's no shit stuff.
Mr. Morrison is saying it's no shit stuff, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Is there another page? No, thank you. Exhibit 110. Some of these files, Judge, when we're pulling them up, it inverts them for some reason, so we have to pull them up in another program. Yep. And go to the top. Okay. You just said that Mr. Morrison reached out to the rest of his group. Is that what we're seeing here?
Yes.
Mr. Morrison says, anybody down for a trip to GR? What's GR stand for?
Grand Rapids.
Next Saturday for a meeting, correct?
Correct.
Okay, we'll go down. What's happening here in the second box?
Joe Morrison says, sent you all the voice clip from my contact, Adam.
Okay.
Joe Morrison said, I'll keep you all posted with the deets.
What are the deets?
Shorthand for details.
Okay, thank you. So Morrison sent the audio clip to others, correct?
Correct.
Okay, could you put up 112, which has already been admitted?
Can we put that back up again, Your Honor? I'm sorry. I'm just trying to avoid objection or dealing with this later.
Yeah.
May I just ask him one question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Says, sent you a voice clip. That was the voice clip that Adam sent to Mr. Morrison, I would assume.
Yes,
Can you tell if somebody opened a voice clip?
no.
Also, what does it say on the next line down?
CHS Dan says, I don't want, think I got it. How did want get in that? I don't see a voice clip.
I don't have any other questions, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Did Mr. Morrison then send it directly to Dan?
Yes, he sent it via Facebook, not on Wire.
Okay. And did Dan get it?
He did.
And did you get it? Because Dan got it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, could you put up 112? Is this the one that we saw earlier about bigger than Seattle?
Yes.
Actually, could you just go through it so we can, the top, could you, just zoom in on the top. And this chronologically in time, this is after, right, that clip is sent around?
Yes. So this is later in the day on June 12th.
And this is the real shit I was talking about, Mr. Morrison says to Dan?
Yes.
Yeah, you can take it. Do Mr. Fox and Croft communicate in the meantime here?
Yes, they're communicating regularly.
Okay, can you take a look at exhibit number 113?
I have it here.
What is it?
This is another voice clip, and it's from June 9th. And this is one of those voice messages that's transmitted on Facebook, and it's from Barry Croft to Adam Fox.
Is it fair and accurate?
Yes.
Are you going to move for submission?
My client, I would object. Again, June 9th. There's no foundation. My client knows about this phone call. There's no foundation that he's met or spoke to Barry Croft personally at this point, or Adam Fox. And so I would object.
No objection.
Standing objection.
Your objections noted, Mr. Kirkpatrick, but I'm gonna allow it in.
And maybe limited instruction later.
You can write one up and we'll go over them.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Can you play it? And this is Mr. Croft talking to Mr. Fox, is that right?
That's correct.
Okay.
You're also gonna have people from Michigan tell you, yo, Croft sent me to you, you know what I mean? So, you know, I'm putting them cats on you, brother. It's gonna be that. And they gonna form up on us and we're gonna do our thing, man. Well, look at don't even know, man. We're just at the beginning stages of shit, you know what I mean? Like we just got in the fight. Everybody else been on it, you know what I mean? But because we're in the Patriot movement, we've been politically correct so long that we are just joining the fight that everybody else is currently engaged in, you know what I mean? It's like that, bro. But it's cool though, we'll be all right, we'll get it. Give me a holler, I'll be out here later on.
Agent, does Croft tell Fox that he's sending Fox the Michigan boys at some point?
Yes.
Do you see that in your exhibits around that number? You can take this one down.
No, I don't see it.
Okay, circle back around to that. I want to ask you about Mr. Musico now. Does Mr. Musico get in touch with Mr. Croft?
Yes, he does.
And Mr. Musico, does he friend Croft on the date of May 25th, 2020?
Yes, he does.
How do you know this?
Looked at Facebook search warrant results.
Okay, could you put up exhibit 10, please, and go to page 4?
Was that? Oh, okay.
Okay, now this is exhibit 10, page 4. What are we seeing here?
So that's Pete Musico on the upper left, that's Barry Croft on the lower left. And then this is significant communication between the two during the course of the investigation.
Okay, and so this starts on May 25th, correct?
Correct,
Goes all the way to October 3rd, correct?
correct.
Okay, and then the very last box there, it says text messages, 40 of them, correct?
That's correct.
So you don't, you weren't gonna put 40 boxes on this, were you?
No, and I don't have the content of those text messages.
Okay, you just know that there were text messages.
That's correct.
Okay, so we're talking about communication from May all the way to October, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. And can you take a look at exhibit number 7? Can you take that down, thank you? Again, this is Mr. Musico and Mr. Croft, correct?
That's correct. I have 7 here.
Okay, and what is that?
7 are Facebook business records with boxed communications between Barry Croft and Pete Musico.
Thank you, and move for its admission.
No objection.
Doesn't involve my client, no objection.
No objection. 7's admitted.
Thank you. Can you put 7 up, please? And one that's showing the date they became friends, correct?
That's correct.
What could you, this whole like section here?
I'm sorry, that's not the date they became friends. That's the date that a video was posted, which Pete Musico commented on.
Okay, so you know that Pete Musico watched that video, correct?
The comments are embedded in the video.
Okay, the comments embedded in the video, and can you tell me which video that is on our list from the 100, or I'm sorry, the 93 series exhibits, do you know?
Yes, so that's the video from May 28th, and there's only one video, I believe, from May 28th.
Thank you. All right, and then here, could you zoom in this section here? What are we seeing here?
So in the comments on the video, Pete Musico stated, "You are so right, brother. Pound rope."
And what was that a reference to in the video?
Hanging people.
Okay, thank you. So we know in May, the end of May, Mr. Musico is directly communicating with Mr. Croft, correct?
That's correct.
Thank you. Could you go to the second page, please, of this exhibit? There's another video here that, is this indicating that Mr. Musico watched another video of Mr. Croft?
I wouldn't go that far. That's when Mr. Croft posts the video on Facebook, and then those are the comments down here in relation to that video that are posted by users who are watching it.
Okay, can you zoom in on this area? Can you tell me what we're seeing?
So these are comments on the June 2nd video. Pete Musico stated, "This government is not ours. We were all scammed. Unite. I agree, brother. You are so right.
What is unite referring to?
Bring the militias together."
Speculation is what Mr. Musico's intent was on that.
Did the video reference uniting?
That's correct.
Okay, and so do you have some idea of what the word unite might mean in this context?
And still speculation. She can argue to the jury at closing.
Fine, Judge, I'll move on.
Yeah. He's correct.
Section here.
Pete Musico commented on the video, "Correct. This country hasn't been our for 110 years.
Okay, thank you. Can you go to page 3 of this exhibit, please? Put on here.
This is similar to the exhibit we looked at before. It's from June 9th. It's Barry Croft replying to the comment that Pete Musico had made on Facebook, and he's tagging Pete and saying, I have no doubt very shortly, and then he's tagging Adam Fox is working on the 2nd Continental Michigan Regiment. Constitutional defense being of the essence, wherever I am invited, I'll make haste.
So is this Barry Croft telling Pete Musico directly that Adam Fox is working on the 2nd Continental Michigan Regiment?
Yes,
Okay, thank you. Do Mr. Musico and Mr. Fox become friends?
yes.
Okay, how do you know this?
Review of Facebook search warrant results.
You put exhibit 10 up, please. That would be page 1. Okay. What are we seeing here?
These are the communications between Pete Musico, pictured in the upper left, and Adam Fox in the lower left.
Okay. And when does it start?
Well,
The communication.
the communications start on 6/9/2020 when Pete Musico friends Adam Fox on Facebook.
Then there's a lot of contact here. We're talking about contact in the month of June, right?
Yes,
July,
yes,
August,
yes,
September,
yes,
October.
yes.
Okay. And can you look at exhibit 8, please? You can take this down.
I have exhibit 8 here.
It's a similar document, communications from Facebook records, show communications between Mr. Musical and Mr. Fox.
Yes, it is.
Thank you. I'm going to move for its admission.
Any objection?
No objection.
No objection.
No objection.
Eight's admitted.
Do they, could you put 8 up, please? There's a bunch of, I'm sorry, is this page 1? It is, okay, thank you. So here, there's reference to storming the Capitol, is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, and there's some voice clips here, correct?
Yes,
Are the corresponding voice clips in exhibits 114 and 115?
yes.
Okay, I'm gonna move to their admission, Judge.
No objection.
No objection.
No objection. No.
14, 115 are admitted.
Thank you. Can you say 114, please? And I'm sorry, let me, before you play that, 1 second. What's the context of this conversation? What's happening in the conversation between Mr. Musical, Mr. Fox at this point?
Yeah, so this is on June 12th, 2020, and this is a Facebook voice clip, which is sent from Adam Fox and Pete Musico as they're discussing storming the Capitol or whatever you want to call it on April 30th. So item number 5 on the timeline.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead and play.
Bro, we didn't really storm the Capitol that day. I was there front line, man. I had my fucking Tiger Hawaiian shirt on, bro. I was right in the front. They posted my fucking face all over the news 2 weeks. Caught me in the mess of punch there, bro. We didn't storm the Capitol.
And I'd like you to play the next one. That is 115, please.
And again, this is still Fox to Musico, correct?
Yes,
Oh,
it is correct.
is there
Yes.
115? Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, 115 is a voice clip from Adam Fox to Pete Musico on June 13th, 2020.
Okay, thank you.
Fuck yeah, brother. What time on Sunday? Cause I have another 12-hour day tomorrow and I won't be home until like 9:30 tomorrow night.
Wait, can you go back to exhibit 8? What time on Sunday? Heard?
That's correct.
What was that a response to?
That was a response to the meeting at the Back Shack.
A response to the meeting, at the back shack?
Yes,
Okay, take a look at exhibit on the screen. Can you tell me, sorry.
oh, I'm sorry. No, this is a response to coming to Dunn Road and training.
Okay, could you zoom into that section? Yes, so we just played 114 where they were talking about storm the Capitol, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and that's reflected up here in this Facebook record, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and then what does Mr. Musical reply to that?
Mr. Musico states, and if you come Sunday, we're right outside Jackson, bring your guns, you can shoot.
So is this Mr. Musico inviting Mr. Fox to his house
Yes,
to shoot guns, correct?
that's correct.
All right, to train, correct?
Correct.
All right, and then there's another voicemail.
The Honor,
here.
objection to the characterization. Shooting is one thing, training is another. You can come to my house and shoot. That doesn't mean you're training.
That's fine, the jury can interpret however they want to interpret.
Perfect.
It's fine. Move on. And then the
Yes.
second audio clip here that we just heard was what time on Sunday, correct?
Correct.
All right, thank you. You can zoom out of this.
It's not. It's not.
And there's further communications with Mr. Musical and Mr. Fox, correct?
Correct.
So can you zoom into this section here? What is Mr. Musico telling Mr. Fox?
Mr. Musico stated, I have sat back for a long time watching this shit happen, and everyone around me called me crazy, a conspiracy, and just some mean shit. And as the director of my church, now my fellow church members think I'm extreme. So I guess I think I am. But man, people are so selfish nowadays. They don't care even our own members. The devil surely has mastered deception.
Okay, you can zoom out of that. And can you go to page 2? Or I'm sorry, the next page from this. Okay. What are we seeing here?
These are screen captures sent by Pete Musico of publicly available photographs from online. They're news photos.
Thank you. You can take that now. All right. Going to our significant events timeline here. We've gone through number 10, is that correct? Dublin, Ohio meeting?
Yes.
Okay, the next event on here is when?
June 14th, 2020.
Is that a training at Mr. Morrison and Mr. Musico's house?
Yes,
Is that the training referring to in the clips we just saw, the communications between Mr. Musico and Mr. Fox?
that's the Sunday training.
Okay,
Council, this is probably a good point to break.
thank you, Judge.
I'll just see everybody back at 1:15.
Thank you.